courage isn't fearlessness. You have to be right too. You can be completely rash and lack fear and just go headlong into things. You're probably just going to be unwise and perhaps overly rash and brash. You can look at people in history and say someone like Attila the Hun likely was very, he probably didn't fear anything or didn't fear very much, but he was really violent, and it's hard to say that his violence was courage as such. He may have had moments of courage, don't mishear me, but simply because you lack the fear of harm and you are violent and hurt other people and can overcome the fear of what they will do to you doesn't necessarily make you brave or courageous. It could just make you a violent fool. You see, courage is connected to the other virtues. Courage follows from wisdom, which chooses between good and evil, and it selects justice because courage requires justice to be truly courageous. And it needs self-control so that you don't let the fear of what may happen overcome you, but courageously push through to do the right thing on the basis of wisdom. Put simply, courage follows wisdom and overcomes fear. Now, let me read to you a long quote by Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics, actually probably two quotes really, and just comment on them because I think they're going to give a little bit of clarity to what I mean by using someone who's been known to have some deep wisdom on the idea of courage from history. I think I'll put the image on the screen as I read it, but let me go here. Aristotle says, "Of those who go to excess, he who exceeds in fearlessness has no name. We have said previously that many states of character have no names. But he would be a sort of madman or insensible person if he feared nothing, neither earthquakes nor waves, as they say the Celts do not. Well, the man who exceeds in confidence about what really is terrible is rash. The rash man, however, is also thought to be boastful and only a pretender to courage. At all events, as the brave man is with regard to what is terrible, so the rash man wishes to appear, and so he imitates him in situations where he can. Hence, most of them are a mixture of rashness and cowardice. For while in these situations they display confidence, they do not hold their ground against what really is terrible. The man who exceeds in fear is a coward, for he fears both what he ought not and as he ought not, and not all the similar characterizations attached to him. He is lacking also in confidence, but he is more conspicuous for his excess of fear in painful situations. The coward then is a despairing sort of person, for he fears everything." Let me read that again. The coward then is a despairing sort of person, for he fears everything. The brave man, on the other hand, has the opposite disposition, for confidence is the mark of a hopeful disposition. So he's already said that a rash man is someone who doesn't fear the right things, but a cowardly one is who basically over-fears too many things, and in which case he lacks hope. But the brave man is marked by a hopeful disposition. Continuing, the coward, the rash man, and the brave man then are concerned with the same objects but are differently disposed towards them. For the first to exceed and fall short, while the third holds the middle, which is the right position. And rash men precipitate and wish for dangers beforehand, but draw back when they are in them, while brave men are keen in the moment of action, but quiet beforehand. So there's a sort of golden mean here that courage is between rashness and cowardness. But courage is also tied to knowing what you should be, afraid of, what is truly terrible, what is truly fearful. You can be rash and jump headlong into danger and you're a fool. You can be a coward and cower in fear when something difficult comes to you and you're a coward. But bravery or courage is something much, much different. I like that last phrase, brave men are keen in the moment of action, but quiet beforehand. That it's not about talk, it's about what they do. Sometimes you notice this in real life, where those who have the, let's say, the loudest mouths are those who, in the moment of action, are the least effective. And those with quiet strength are the ones who rise to the occasion. This is the kind of thing that Aristotle is getting at. So true courage is not marked by just loving violence, it's not marked by cowardness, it's marked by knowing what is truly terrible, confronting it and overcoming it. Terrible in the old sense of truly fearful. The second part of the quote goes like this. As we have said then, courage is a mean with respect to things that inspire confidence or fear in the circumstances that have been stated, and it chooses to endure things because it is noble to do so, or because it is base not to do so. So this is important here. Courage is a mean, a middle with respect to confidence or fear, overconfidence and fear. Or I guess confidence and fear in general, in the circumstances that have been stated, and chooses or endures things because it is noble to do so. So you choose what is noble, or because it is base not to do so. So base here meaning evil, not like that's based, I guess, in the positive sense of how people talk today sometimes. But to die to escape from poverty or love or anything painful is not the mark of a brave man, but rather of a coward. For it is softness to fly from what is troublesome, and such a man endures death not because it is noble, but to fly from evil. So basically, a suicide mission or trying to escape pain or whatever is actually kind of cowardly. It's bearing the pain of it. It's bearing the suffering. It's bearing the horrendous weight of what is evil and overcoming or enduring through it. That's courage. And courage is tied to pursuing nobility, what is truly good, not, what is truly evil. You might say someone is courageous by running from the police after a murder. Well, they're probably rash. They probably have too much confidence. They don't fear what they should. They're not pursuing a noble end. They are really fools. And ultimately, they are running away from nobility, from justice. And in that sense, they're cowards as well. Courage, Aristotle says, is noble. Therefore, the end is also noble. For each thing is defined by its end, therefore it is for a noble end that the brave man endures and acts as courage directs. This is hugely important. You can only be courageous when you're pursuing what is good. Courage is tied to truth and justice. It is not tied to falsehood and injustice. You are not courageous when you act tough but do evil. The reason why courage is tied to justice and so on is because the virtues must be held together. C.S. Lewis says, courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point, which means at the point of highest reality. A chastity or honesty or mercy which yields to danger will be chaste or honest or merciful only on conditions. Pilate was merciful till it became risky. If you want to hear more about how the virtues are all tied together, watch this video on Gregory the Great and how all the virtues must be tied to one another.